Welcome to Positively West Virginia. For the next few weeks, we're excited to revisit 5 of our most popular episodes in 2024. Before we dive in, we want to take a moment to sincerely thank you, our listeners, for your incredible support. Your loyalty, feedback, and encouragement have helped us share the inspiring stories of West Virginia's people, businesses, and communities. We couldn't do this without you, and we're so grateful to have you along on this journey. Now, let's celebrate these fan-favorite moments together. Enjoy the episode.
Stay focused. Don't give up. Don't deviate from the path. It's hard sometimes with the art business or any business, really. You're up and down. It's feast or famine. So you have to weather the famine and be smart enough when you're in the feast stages to put some away.
Positively West Virginia is powered by Breezeline high-speed fiber internet and sponsored by Highmark West Virginia, Freedom Key of Morgantown, Interaction Media, and Storymaker. With the help of these sponsors, we are able to share the positive business stories of West Virginians, including the one featured in today's episode.
Well, folks, we're visiting today with Jamie Lester. If you heard that name or you know that name, he's kind of a household name here in West Virginia. Lots of things going on across the state. Jamie, it's great to have you on the show.
It's a great pleasure to be here.
Yeah, man. You're an entrepreneur. You're a sculptor, an artist, but also an entrepreneur, a business person. I just want to learn a little bit about what you do. So take us to maybe give us an overview, Jamie, of all the things you're into these days.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
The main thing we do is Vandalia Bronze.
Yeah.
That's a company we founded in 2012.
Yeah.
And it focuses on public artwork, and mostly in bronze and stainless steel. So big pieces weighing thousands of pounds in a public setting. Yeah. There can be statues, large-scale sculptures like at the Rising Cardinal in Beckley, which is an abstract
Gorgeous
piece.
Yeah.
And then that's the main source of revenue,
Yeah.
And then I do fine art work that shows in galleries. Ceramic and steel, different materials. I am a real estate investor, so we have my wife and I have some rentals. That's another LLC that we have.
Yeah.
And then I'm a musician as well, so I have a band,
The Lords of Leicester.
Lords of Leicester, and I write stuff, do solo performances as well.
That's
it means
great.
a lot to me. It's not a source of revenue really, but it's really important to me. It's part of my creativity.
Yeah, I love it. So, Jamie, take us back to the start. You grew up in Oceana, West Virginia, Wyoming County. You're born there?
Yep, born
there
in 1974 in Raleigh General in Beckley, and but grew up 17 years in Oceana.
Yeah.
And then moved to Morgantown when I was 17 years old in 1992.
Wow.
And never left.
Wow.
But yeah, growing up in Oceana was nice. I mean, it's in the coal fields, so the mountains ranges down there are just really tight, very secluded and isolated.
Yeah. How did you know, or what point did you know that you wanted to be an artist?
I knew really young.
Yeah.
My mom started to delve into arts when I was born. She was in her like mid-20s, like 26, 27. She started to kind of get back into art. I was 3 or 4, and I would just sit on the floor and draw. And she had all her materials around, so I would use her paints and things. So by the time I got to kindergarten, when I was 4, I was already making these drawings that kind of impressed my teachers. And
they weren't stick figures, probably.
No, I was drawing out of books like dinosaurs and animals, things like that, and they made a big fuss about it and put those drawings up on the walls of the hallway of the school, like not even in my room, but in like the whole school. And I remember getting a lot of recognition for it, and I think it affected me at like a really young age. Like I was like, I like this, I thought I'd like this attention because I was a really shy and terrified, like I was just afraid. I had a lot of fear, of interacting with other people, I guess. So the art was a way for it to bridge that.
Yeah, that's amazing. Speaking of bridge, the New River Gorge Bridge. You're very famous for designing the West Virginia quarter for the U.S. Mint. Talk about that experience for just a minute or two.
I was living in Morgantown. I'd already started my business and was about 7 years into my first business, which is Lester Sculpture, a sole proprietorship. And this contest came around where the governor Wise asked the artists of West Virginia to submit a design for the commemorative state quarter, and I waited till the very last day, and I didn't want. My dad was a coal miner, and he died. He was sick. He was always sick. He was always just hurting. His body was just destroyed from working in the mines. So, I had some negative views of that. I did not want to make the quarter. My submission was not going to be about coal. So at that point, I was like looking at different points of natural beauty in West Virginia, and the New River Gorge just kind of popped out. I had no business ties there yet. This is 2005, 4, and but the bridge was a great symbol for me for West Virginians conquering this rugged terrain with this massive, incredible feat of engineering. And it was a symbol for the people. The bridge is a symbol for the people. And it won out of like 1,800 entries.
It's incredible.
And it was instrumental to my success.
It skyrocketed.
Yeah. I mean, for a while there, I was like, I had my 15 minutes of fame in West Virginia because all the Rotary clubs and everybody wanted me to come and sign the quarters, sign their quarters. People still bring me funny things like the West Virginia quarter, the original version, which was like a 22 bullet with 3 pennies attached to it. The first quarter. Wow. Like 3 pennies, like there's a hole drilled through the bullet, and the pennies, and then they're all linked together with like chain.
I've never seen one of those.
It's pretty cool.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, that was the first one. That was the initial quarter. But
that's great.
Yeah, I wouldn't be where I am today without that quarter.
Well, you think about Vandalia Bronze and some of the iconic, what I consider iconic statues here, especially in our state. I know you do it. Your art is across the country, right? But here in West Virginia, the Jerry West statue that's an iconic piece right there at the WVU Coliseum, just 2 blocks from where we're sitting. The Milan Puskar statue at the Milan Puskar Stadium, and I knew Mike Puskar, and every time I walk by that, I'm like, oh, that's so cool, you know. And things like the Don Knotts statue on High Street in front of the Met Theater. Those are all your works, and they're incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we talked about New River Gorge. I'm holding the brochure. Kind of how I got introduced to you as Love Hope Arts. This is in Fayetteville, West Virginia, right there at the New River Gorge National Park now, right, that area. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing in the nonprofit space with Love Hope Arts.
Well, it's pretty, I'm really proud of what we've done down there. It has been a big effort. We bought the building. It's a historic black church in Fayetteville, and it was in ruin. We bought it. It had been empty for about 5 years. The water was just flowing down through the building, and we bought it and started to restore it as just a personal studio for me. And at some point, it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel like it was the right function for the building or best use of the building. So I decided to try to found a nonprofit. I wrote the bylaws and the articles of incorporation, submitted the application, and we became a 501c3 in 2021.
Wow, just a couple years now.
We're just ending our 3rd year in May. So we're going to be beginning our 4th year in May, which is a huge milestone for a nonprofit. So after 3 years of programming, we can move on to some bigger funding opportunities. But it's been a challenge, and we have and there's a board. There's a 6-member board now. I'm not on the board because I own the building, and I founded the organization. Yet, and I donate the building for the last 3 years. I've been donating the building at no charge to the organization. There are the challenges of how to do this. Like legally, because I can't found a nonprofit and then use it as a tax shelter. It's not. That's not the reason for it. The reason for it is to create an educational opportunity for that area, which it's an educational nonprofit. And we do gallery shows. We show art, local art. We show art from outside areas. We do classes and rent studio space to other artists in the area. So it has a lot of functions, and it's a really vital part of that community.
Yeah, that's amazing. Love Hope Arts in Fayetteville, West Virginia. Jamie, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break to mention our sponsors for Positively West Virginia. We'll be right back.
Your prescriptions are designed to keep you healthy, active, full of life. At Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield, we're making vital medicine more affordable. Because when your prescriptions don't cost an arm and a leg, you can use those limbs for something more meaningful. Because life. Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield, West Virginia.
It's in the precision, the attention to detail, and the confidence that create a timeless look. Like Diamond Cuts Barbershop, Freedom Kia of Morgantown is not only committed to timeless design, but also fair pricing, excellent sales, and service with no hidden fees. You'll love the all-new 2024 Kia Sportage LX all-wheel drive leasing for just $265 per month. Wherever it is you're going, arrive with confidence and arrive in style. Visit Freedom Kia today, right off exit 153 on I-79 in Morgantown.
And we're back. We're visiting today with Jamie Lester. He is a sculptor, an artist, and an entrepreneur here in West Virginia. Jamie, thanks again for being on the show. Let's jump right back into it. So, as an artist, what's one of the wildest things you've experienced in your career so far?
Wow. Something
Something that really jumps out at you.
Well, working with the Scouts has been an extraordinary experience.
Yeah.
Not something I never would have expected. I didn't grow up with scouting, Boy Scouts. I don't even remember it being an option in Oceana.
Yeah.
But I started working with them in 2013, the national organization, and they founded a really cool spot in Mount Hope, West Virginia, called the Summit Bechtel Reserve. And since then, I've made almost 30 statues for them in bronze.
Incredible.
Of people like Rex Tillerson of ExxonMobil. Met some really cool people like Dave Alexander and Phoenix, who has gone on to do a lot of other work with me. It's just the opportunity to meet different people and talk about entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Entrepreneurs on a different level, that have been pretty influential to me.
Yeah.
Plus, it's just been crazy fun, like driving with John Harkey in Dallas in his Tesla, and going from 0 to like 80 in like 5 seconds or something on the Dallas freeway, and then driving with early on with the autopilot on 70 miles per hour in like construction traffic in Dallas while he's talking to me about Michelangelo.
Cool.
Amount of really cool people we've been able to meet through working with the Scouts has been really great, and it's ongoing. Like we're doing a few pieces for them now for the Order of the Arrow.
Oh my gosh.
It's been a really great opportunity.
How does that, as an artist, how does it feel not only to do the work, but then to see people enjoying it?
Yeah, that's the best feeling when you see people like with the Don Knotts piece putting a hat on him or a scarf in the wintertime. And the Zachary Morgan, people will put a wreath on the rifle around Christmas. Yeah. So art should be used. Art has a real function in our lives. It's a vital function, whether we recognize it or not, and we do sometimes recognize it when we're like paying $500 for a Taylor Swift ticket, for one night, or $1,000 or whatever. I don't know how much her tickets go for.
Right.
When we need it, when we need the art, we pay for it. We'll pay anything for it. But then on the other hand, it's like there's I don't know what the word is there, but there's like a split between when people expect art for nothing, and then they'll pay anything for it, and there's no like in between. It's just either that, one or the other.
Yeah, that's amazing. Have you gotten to experience some of the master works, if you will, like in Italy and places like that.
I visited Rome.
Yeah.
They saw the Bernini's
Yeah.
and the Via Borghese, and it was just incredibly influential.
Yeah, it's emotional when you see, like, the Sistine Chapel, and
Yeah.
just think about what, I saw the David,
Yeah.
Michelangelo's David,
And the
in Florence.
Uffizi, yeah.
Yeah, and I think, like, he was creating that with a piece of marble and a chisel, right?
Yeah.
He didn't have like GPS and lasers, and
They did have they did use a sort of basic technology,
Yeah,
though,
yeah.
because they would take a model that they wanted to
right.
sculpt, and they would fill it up with water, and then they would decrease the amount of water in it, and then look at the shape that was revealed as the water went down, and then carve that out of the stone. Wow. That's how they did the general shaping of the stone. Yeah.
Well, I think about, like, hammer and chisel, basically, right?
Yeah.
And like the veins of David's hand, are like, you could see like all the anatomy, the wrinkles of the skin, and how he did that.
My favorite is Bernini's David. You saw it in the in the Borghese.
Yeah.
Like, he's just it's from a different era. It's like 100 years later.
Yeah.
I think. And so that romantic style,
Exactly.
where you can see is getting ready to throw that stone.
Yes.
And his face is determined.
Yes.
I love that piece.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, that's good stuff. Well, I appreciate you letting me kind of reminisce about that, because I love art. I'm not an artist. I did play drums for a number of years, and still do a little bit, but
Cool.
but I never really did anything with it. Paid my way through college, I guess.
Well, you mentioned earlier that you mentioned that I'm an entrepreneur because I create things.
Yes.
And I think that you nailed it right there, because creativity and art is creativity, but the creativity comes in so many different ways and so many forms. And when you create a business, when you create an LLC, a partnership, or S corp or something, it didn't exist before. You created something, a legal form, an entity that didn't exist. And to me, there's hardly any greater form of creativity. Building a house is a huge, to me,
gosh.
it's just like it's some of the hardest sculpture that I've ever done is building my house. Because my wife and I built our house from the ground up.
Really? I bet that was amazing.
It was. We're still together.
We're still together. Yeah,
we are.
They say
Yeah,
that's one of the leading causes of divorce.
I know.
Right? Building
80.
a house
It's like
together.
the statistics are like wild, and we were well aware of the statistics. But
gosh.
we beat the odds.
That's amazing. Jamie, we're going to take another quick break for our sponsors. We'll be right back.
My name's Caitlin Furby. I'm an interior designer with Remarkable Interiors. Our time is very limited. We're trying to do everything we can possible to keep our clients' projects moving and rolling. So Storymaker has been really great for us for putting out how to explain our company. I can sit and agonize about a post. And is this right? Does this sound good? When I use Storymaker, it sounds so beautiful, and it was so easy, and it saves me a lot of time to do the things that I'm really good at.
Stay connected with an unbeatable deal from Breezeline. Get reliable, fiber-powered 500 megabits internet for $39.99 per month with a $100 gift card and price lock guarantee, plus a free modem, free installation, and free Wi-Fi your way. Folks, here at Interaction Media, we're a media company, and we rely on high-speed internet every single day to get our jobs done. That's why we use Breezeline. It's affordable, it's fast, and they're awesome people as well. Learn more at breezeline.com. And we're back, folks. We're visiting today with Jamie Lester from right here in West Virginia. He's a sculptor, an artist, and an entrepreneur. Jamie, obviously you get these commissions to do a piece, an art piece, a sculpture, maybe it's fine art. How do you go about getting the word out there these days? Is it word of mouth? Is it your reputation? Do you do any marketing? I'm curious about that.
I mean, I should do more marketing, but right now I'm busy as I can be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all word of mouth, really. I started working. I've been doing this for 27 years, just steady.
Amazing.
And I think that's probably part of the formula is just stay focused, don't give up, don't deviate from the path. Yeah. It's hard sometimes with the art business or any business, really. You're up and down, it's feast or famine. Yeah. So you have to weather the famine and be smart enough when you're in the feast stages to put some away, and make so you can get through the hard times.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's mostly word of mouth.
Yeah, that's really cool. I appreciate you sharing that. What's the vision, like long term, 27 years? What's the vision that you have for, the Vandalia Bronze and everything else that you're working on?
I feel like I'm getting to a point in my career. I'm turning 50 this year in September.
Yeah, that's young.
Well, yeah, I'm excited. I think I love my 40s. I think they were great. But I remember when I was turning 40, I was still kind of lost,
Yeah.
Now I'm focused and I have the tools and the ability to do whatever I want to do. So what is that?
Mm-hmm.
And I think
it's a good place to be.
It's a great place to be.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. And one thing I did was schedule a solo exhibition for myself in Alexandria, Virginia, downtown, like not Old Town, but it's like on the canal.
Yeah.
And it's I'm going to fill up the whole gallery with 50 or so works, 50 or 60 works.
Amazing. When's that coming up?
October 6th is the opening reception.
Gosh. Yeah.
And that's over the next 10 years. That's what I want to develop. I want to be competing for large scale public art installations all over the world, and be able to compete for those, to be in the top 3 nationwide for projects in DC or LA, New York, Miami, wherever you are. Like, I want to be on the projects the biggest projects I want to be in the running for, at least.
I love it.
And I'm not there yet. I've been cutting my teeth here for 27 years, but I want to do some major national works, and I want to develop my fine art work. And I'm selling a lot of my fine art stuff. It's different than the public art work, a little bit more conceptual, but it's still figurative work that kind of comes back to my roots of ceramics, which is what I fell in love with, really.
Okay, yeah. So I was going to ask you, because we talked a lot about sculpture work, the bronze pieces and everything. What are you most passionate about in terms of your work? What medium is that?
It's probably clay. I mean, it's a tough question because I love
you like it all.
I love drawing and painting and playing music, writing music and sculpting, but it's sculpting. I was a painter, a draftsman, and a painter growing up, but I never really did much with clay.
Yeah. And
when I in WVU, I touched clay in a pottery class for the first time with Bob Anderson. I just fell in love with it, and it changed my life. I've never looked back from that time.
Really?
And now I sculpt in all kinds of mediums. One of the ways I sculpt is with a computer, with a program called ZBrush, and I use a stylus. And a lot of the large scale pieces I'm making are all done with a computer.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love it. Now, you mentioned WVU.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get a bachelor's degree?
A BFA.
BFA.
Mm-hmm.
And was sculpture your emphasis then?
Yeah, my emphasis was ceramics and sculpture, both.
Okay.
I did 27 hours or whatever in
cool.
both of those.
What would you say, for maybe an artist listening to this, maybe it's another young person that's thinking about starting a business and they're hearing you speak, because you're very passionate about what you do, and you're also it's a very inspirational story coming from Wyoming County and Oceana to Morgantown and now the national stage. What would you say is a piece of advice you would give to somebody thinking about being an entrepreneur, being a small business owner?
I would say mostly just don't listen to that voice in your head that tells you can't do it. And it tells you that what you're thinking of has already been done, and that you're not going to do well at it, and you're an imposter. Because everyone has those thoughts.
I still have them today.
Yeah,
13 years in.
And a lot of people aren't some people surprised when you tell them that you have those feelings, because they expect you, because you're successful, to have put that aside a long time ago. But you don't. I think everyone, even the most successful artists have. I mean, especially some of the most successful artists like Van Gogh, or who knows if Picasso, or like someone like him did. But it's human to think to have those doubts, and a lot of people let those doubts cut their dreams off before they even really get started.
Yeah, that's so powerful. Yeah, it's funny because you talk about it being like a voice, and it is actual a voice, like and in business today, I mean, even if you're successful, you got to continue to reinvent yourself all the time because things are changing. We have, we have artificial intelligence. We weren't even talking about this 3 years ago, maybe very esoteric level, but it's here now, and it's part of our daily lives. And I'm thinking, like, if you're not changing and you're not adapting and watching the world around you and figuring out like what the next problem to solve is, and honestly, I always talk about entrepreneurship as solving a problem, business, and you've identified it, because you talked about people don't want to pay for it here and they'll pay anything here, and that's that connection you're trying to have with people, right?
Yeah.
Ultimately.
I mean, I've heard someone define sculpture as the solution to a problem that they didn't even know they had.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I was trying to say. That's perfect. That's perfect. Well, I just think, with Love Hope Arts, with your Vandalia Bronze, your music. Let's give a plug for your music. Again, it's the Lords of Leicester. It's a creative outlet. Do you guys have any shows coming up?
No, it's funny. We're taking the whole year off.
Okay.
But I am playing some solo stuff coming. I'm playing.
You play mandolin?
Basically? I play mandolin and guitar.
Guitar, okay.
Bass, a few other things, and write music. So the Lords are taking some time off, but this year I am playing a few solo things, and I'm playing. I'm sitting in with the Cooley Gang at Cheat Fest on 3 songs. We're gonna play a Lord's song actually.
That's cool.
And No Mountains there, but you can find us on Spotify
That's
and
awesome.
all the streaming.
That's awesome.
We have a couple albums.
Yeah, that's fantastic, Jamie. First of all, I've enjoyed our conversation. I've learned a lot about you, and I think our listeners will find a lot of inspiration. Is there anything else about your story that you think our folks should know about?
Well, I think that you asked earlier what I would tell an artist coming up.
Yeah.
In West Virginia, we have so much talent, and there's so many exciting artists coming up, maybe now more than ever before. So for me, I'm just really excited about arts in West Virginia, and I would just say to those artists that are coming up, just to know that just to keep being themselves, and telling their story, because it's worth telling.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, great stuff. How can our folks learn more about Jamie Lester and get in touch with you?
The best way is just to go to our website. It's jamie-lester.com, JAMIELESTER.com.
Yeah, we'll make sure we have links to that in the show notes as well as on social media. Jamie, it's been a real honor to have you here in the studio today. I've been a fan of yours for a long time, and great to get to know you. And I just want to encourage you to keep up the great work. You're paving the way for all those young artists coming up.
Thank you,
talked
Jim.
about for the last 27 years.
It was my pleasure to be here.
It's awesome.
We'd like to thank our partners, Highmark West Virginia, Freedom Key of Morgantown, Interaction Media, Storymaker, and our studio sponsor, Breezeline, for helping to share these positive stories. If you'd like to become a sponsor of the Positively West Virginia podcast, visit positivelywv.com/sponsor.
Folks, that's a wrap on another episode of Positively West Virginia. If you or someone you know would be a great guest on the show, drop us a line on our website at positivelywv.com. And we encourage you to share this content on your social media channels, get the story out there about Jamie Lester. I wanted to just mention that on behalf of our entire Positively West Virginia team, including our producer today, Mr. Justin Schofield behind the controls, I'm your host, Jim Matuga. Stay positive, West Virginia.